Plan your next trip with Ride Norfolk. Ride Norfolk operates an on-demand transit service across Norfolk County from Monday to Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Enjoy the podcast today.
Advantage Athletic Therapy, personalized rehabilitation programs with a whole body approach. Enjoy the podcast.
It's the December show from with Dave Scott and Barb from Healthy, Well, and Wise. Had that a little backwards. The title this month, you sent me the article this week, and I read it. Your title is it's that holiday season. I think you and I talk about this every year, but I really appreciated the article you wrote this month, or the story you wrote, and how you came across those points. I thought it was really amazing the way you did that. Thank you for doing that. I'm going to let you do the lead, and I have some questions for you, so you fire away.
Okay. Well, it's great to see you. And yeah, the satisfaction scale in life with ourselves, with our everyday. And I think we don't ask enough questions about why we aren't feeling that satisfaction. And especially with the holidays approaching, we are so conditioned for those extraneous ways to make ourselves and our loved ones happy. And oftentimes, and you see it on Boxing Day all the time, the Boxing Day blues, and there's this big crash, like a sugar crash, because you've, enjoyed, and then suddenly there's this void of nothingness and emptiness, I guess, with things just strewn around you. So that's not unlike our everyday life, and that satisfaction, we have to look at why we're not feeling satiated by things, whether it's with our nutrition, whether it's in our relationships, perhaps in our work life, but all aspects of our life, we can look and ask what's not being met when we're actually asking ourselves the right questions.
I like the piece too in there you wrote, as life is not constant. I thought resonated with me because I think as a younger man, I always wanted everything to be constant, consistent, but life is so not that. You know what I mean? And I think I like the way you explored that too.
Yeah, yeah, it is always in a state of flux. And that's good. I mean, that's the space that we learn and grow in. That's what we learn what we are made of. That's how we learn how others around us, experience life as well. But yeah, that constant changing, there are always opportunities in there, as challenging as they can be, and sometimes as devastating as those life situations can be. That's truly when we start to find out more about ourselves and our connectedness to one another, to life itself, to and on a global scale, not just within our own homes and our own communities, but on a global scale. We are connected to everything. So when one thing changes, whether we realize it or not, everything is changing. And so it's not just that thing that happened in your life that you're adapting to. It's the climate of everything that we're adapting to. And that can be difficult when we don't understand the tools and resources that we have available to us, and we don't always understand who we are as individuals. We're always growing and learning. My gosh, I've learned more at over 60 about who I am as a person than I had in any decade before that. And it's been really amazing.
When you mentioned, the scale too, I wanted to sort of elaborate on that. Sorry, should go back a bit, but, the other part is the scale takes into account so many different aspects of your life, not just your physical, your mental well-being, but there's so many other, avenues that we could go down and explore on that. And I think that part of it,
Mm.
when you sort of round it all up, let's say you do pick your number, you gotta take everything into consideration. You kinda brought that up, but I wanna sort of go back to that a bit because I don't think people I might just say, "Oh, I feel like crap today, so I'm a 5." But physically, maybe I did everything I needed to do. I should be feeling better about who I am.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The satisfaction scale or satiety scale, depending on what you're measuring um, on any given day, whether it's at the beginning of the day or the end of the day, you can take some quiet time, take a few quiet moments. It can't be when, things are going crazy around you and you have, your list of priorities that you're trying to address for the day. But it needs to be in those quiet moments where you can actually hear yourself. You can actually be present with yourself, whether it's sitting and allowing yourself a soak in the tub, whether it's a beautiful walk in nature. But whatever that space and time of quiet is, those are the moments where we need to check in on our well being because that satisfaction we can lie to ourselves. We can pretend within all of these different areas of our life. We can settle. We can certainly settle for that comfort of what we know is stable to us and not step into change. But, if we aren't satisfied, if those needs aren't being met, then other deficits will follow. If we take nutrition, for instance, you can get all of your calories and beyond from eating ultra processed fast food, but you're still going to be hungry. And the reason for that is the innate intelligence at the very cellular level of your body is telling you you're your nutrients that are critical for your survival haven't been met despite how much you've eaten. And so that satiety switch in the brain isn't going to send the right hormones to tell your body that you've had enough to eat. So you're going to keep eating. It's like that's the wonder and miracle of your body. But you can also take that to your emotional quotient, your immune system. We can't separate all of these parts of our body. If one area is not satisfied, then it will affect and influence our entire entity. And then that affects the people around us. And then that affects their
Yeah.
greater community. So that's that interconnectedness. I use that wonderful word psychoneuroimmunoendocrinology,
Yeah.
but it's literally all aspects. And so if even the most tiny nuance is out of balance, it's still the whole of your being that's going to be affected by that. And so that satisfaction or lack thereof is going to affect your emotional and mental well-being. It's going to affect your immune system, and so on and so forth.
But if you don't have that, I don't know, I don't wanna say that, if the self-awareness connection is not there, those other components aren't going to work as well as they should from an outward society point of view. You know what I mean? Does that
Right,
so, I
right.
mean, when you talk about that self connection, you take those moments every day to sort of, I don't wanna say analyze, but sort of enjoy the moment of being you. Is that correct? To say, "Okay, maybe I need a little bit more." I don't even no, I don't even wanna go there. Like, I don't even wanna say, "Maybe I need a bit more of this." I think it's that self-fulfilled feeling of knowing you're being the best you can be that day.
Yes, yes. And knowing that again, that's not a constant. What your best is today,
Yeah,
it may not be that by the end of the day. And that again is where that flux is involved. But it's having space and grace, and it's having that gentleness for yourself that we can often find very easily for other people that we care about, but we, for some reason, have a different measuring stick for ourselves.
yeah.
So that's something to examine. It's when you're recognizing these things and allowing yourself to recognize those things and to sit in those and reflect. And if in that moment you're very, very busy, then jot it down, make a note in your phone, like make this something that you allow yourself to, because those are deep moments. Those are true self thoughts that are in there. And those are the things that are really telling us what our actual satisfaction life is sitting at. So yeah, it's Gosh, it's the most amazing thing, honestly. It's hard work to
Yeah.
bring about the types of changes we recognize we need once we have sat in those things. Um, and a lot of times we think we're being selfish when we're not satisfied because what we've focused on is all of the materialistic things. So if you've got a nice home and you've got a nice car and you've got this and you've got that, well, that's great, but that's all extraneous. Doesn't tell you anything about who you are inside as a person. And so, you can be a very lonely person and look like you've got it all, and that's hard work. It's hard work to recognize that all of that stuff doesn't actually light you up, and kind of ties back to the holiday season
Yeah,
as
that's what I was gonna
well.
say.
Traditions, right? And so many young people don't necessarily have grandparents or great grandparents. I mean, I was blessed with all of that, this huge family that way. And my mom's mom, they had 13 kids. I had 55 first cousins. So that was, an open house that we went to on Christmas Eve, and everybody showed up at different times. You played with your cousins, but, we got this little baggie with a clementine and some gumdrops and some jelly beans and $2.
Yeah,
And was that was Christmas,
yeah.
and it was very, very special. Um, and it was comforting because it was always the same. All those years of growing up, it was always the same. Um, and so that even though you didn't see those people sometimes for months afterwards, it was still something you shared together. And we can share those things in a bigger community sense, or we can share them in our smaller circles. But yeah, just satisfaction and understanding that it's all connected.
There's something else to that too, because I agree. I think you wanna make your own traditions as a family, but the other aspect that I can take away from what you're telling me is it really didn't like, as a kid, I never looked at when you got to see your cousins or hang out, it wasn't political, it wasn't drama, it was Christmas. You know what I mean? Like, it
Mhm,
was that's when you put your differences aside and you sat down at a table and had a conversation, or you enjoyed that company while you
mhm,
had those moments. And then when you look back at our age now and you like, I remember my great-grandfather, right, sitting there like, it's just those memories are they're solid
mhm.
and they're good,
Yep,
but it's just a
yep,
different time and a different era. But that doesn't mean I need to do what he did or what my family did in that aspect. I might have different ideas. And I think starting your own, I think you bring this up in the article, your own new traditions or looking at how you want to be perceived with your family is important too.
yes, yeah. Because there are things that we do outgrow or that don't bring us any light. And it's recognizing that those things have become not something that fills us up, but actually drags us down. And it's okay to say, you know what? That's not working for me at this stage in my life. That's not working for my family at this stage in the life. And it shouldn't be, any tradition, holiday season. Um, None of our customs should be something that drag us down or drag us into a place that makes us feel very dissatisfied and unhappy. And so, but that does take self-reflection. That does take understanding what your satisfaction level is, and being okay with being perceived as, you know, the black sheep, the, whatever, but it's okay to be you, and to create your own form of meaningful traditions and patterns. But that it does mean that there is a level of awareness already of self.
When you say that too, though, part of that self connection might be the understanding of um, respecting others for their their traditions and taking that into consideration,
For
even in a
sure.
moderate
For
level, so
sure.
you understand and appreciate maybe what they're going through, because I think that's the other aspect of this too I wanted to
Mhm.
just touch base on is, I don't know what your day was like, and maybe you need this moment where we sit there and sing a song.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Because there's being more expansive because again that connectedness and certain people in our lives aren't going to be here forever,
Yeah,
and so it has to be a balance. I know for a lot of people that they don't celebrate necessarily on the day of
right.
what's known to be their traditional celebration, that they find another day to do that, and that's okay too. Family it is where we have come from, and it's finding a way to make all of these things work. But I think that a lot of people are very tired in a lot of different ways, and so we have to address that satisfaction level, because that tiredness is coming from oftentimes these redundant rituals. And so that's why if we freshen them up, if we look at ways that we can enliven them, not lose them completely, right? But find different ways to meet those things and to still join together. And a lot of people do enjoy getting out into the community over the holiday seasons and giving back in ways, whether it's food kitchens, whether it's donating, whether it's carol singing. Like, what a great thing to do throughout the neighborhood. If that's you don't have to be an accomplished choir singer or anything like that to go out and light the heart of one of your neighbors whose family doesn't live close to them, and do carol singing. But yeah, there's lots of ways to meet the season, but definitely be looking more at the everyday of self and getting to know yourself better, and encouraging your children to get to know themselves better and to understand their feelings and to process that aspect, so that when they do make decisions and they do go out there, that they feel empowered about that, that they understand where satisfaction comes from and that it doesn't come from unwrapping a gift.
Barb, it's that holiday season, so, that's, the article in the December Hub. Thanks for taking the time. I wanna wish you and yours Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, and we'll talk in the new
You
year,
as
okay?
well. Thank you so much. You too.